What's up, guys? It's Coach Drew, and today I want to talk to you guys about mastering the role that you're in while working towards the role that you want. So many of you guys hit me up all the time and say, Coach Drew, my coach is putting me in a box and not allowing me to do everything that I'm capable of doing. And what I tell you is that your coach is doing everything he can to help your team win more games. And so while you might not agree with the current role that you're in, you need to work on mastering the stuff that your team needs for you to do. And that might mean whatever your coach tells you to do while working towards the role that you want to be in. So if you're a guy that thinks that you're capable of driving, but your coach says, hey, I really need you to play good defense and knock down open shots, what you need to do is prove to your coach that you're willing to kind of put your ego aside and also sacrifice for your team and master that current role, which is playing defense and knocking down open threes. But then you also can work outside of practice on your own, mastering the stuff that you eventually want to be able to do. And then through consistent daily practice habits, if you can prove to your coach that you're willing and capable of doing those things, then your coach will eventually grow your role over time. So what I'm telling you to do is master the role that your team and your coach needs you to do in order to win more games while working on your own kind of for that next step so that eventually you can prove to your coach that you're ready for a bigger role and able to contribute more to your team and help your team win more games. What's up, guys? It's Coach Drew, and today I'm going to talk to you guys about something super important to me, which is playing time. So many players complain about the lack of playing time, and they ultimately put the blame on their coaches and think there's a reason that they're not playing that isn't true. The reason you're not playing is because your coach thinks that other players can ultimately provide a better chance of your team winning the games. That's the truth. And while it's hard, kind of a pill to swallow at times, sometimes you have to take a step back and realize that there's a reason you're not playing. Now, players, I know that sometimes you think the coach is tripping and you think that the coach is kind of holding grudges, and he might be. The coach might not be playing you because he doesn't like your effort. He might think you're a bad teammate. He might think that your practice habits aren't great on a consistent basis. That might be the reason you're not playing. But ultimately, coach is going to put the guys out there on the court that he trusts the most and that he ultimately thinks that is going to help your team's chances of winning the games. So what are some things you can do to earn more playing time? And it's important. You don't deserve more playing time just because you work hard or just because you think you're better. You earn more playing time by earning the trust of your coach, by earning the right to step on that floor and kind of put the prideful jersey on and represent your team in the manner that your coach wants you to. And so some of the things you can do is you can put in extra work outside of practice to improve your skill set. I think that's important because if you can start improving your skills, you might become a better player, and then your coach can use that skill set in the game to help your team win more games. You can also practice a lot harder consistently. I think sometimes players that are kind of blaming their coach, they think that they can show up each day and kind of give kind of a half-ass effort because ultimately you don't think it's going to reward you into more playing time. Well, the truth is you're going to earn more playing time if you consistently put in hard work each and every single day. And so the next thing you have to do is make sure you bring it every day in practice. The third thing you can do is be a better teammate. Now, if you're not playing, there's two things you can do. You can be on the bench pouting, or you can be involved in the game, cheering on your teammates, and making sure that you're doing everything that you can while you might not be on the court, but to help your team kind of spark energy so that ultimately it gives your team a better chance at winning games. Again, you notice I've said the same thing over and over again. If you can help your team win more games, and if you can prove to your coach that you can provide value that helps your team win more games, then you'll get more playing time. So players, if you're struggling with the lack of playing time, stop blaming it on your coach, start doing things that contribute to your team's success, and I promise you, you'll eventually see yourself out on the court more than you ever have before. What's up, guys? It's Coach Drew, and today I'm going to tell you a little story about my high school career. A lot of you guys know that I used to wake up at 4:59 a.m. and shoot 1,000 shots a day before school. I did that every single day in my high school career besides 4 days. I only missed 4 days in the 4 years I was in high school. Now, while I was obsessed and obviously all that hard work paid off and I eventually got to play in multiple NCAA tournaments and received a Division I scholarship, if I could go back and do things differently, I would change a couple things. The first thing is I would use that time more efficiently. So while I do think that 1,000 shots a day really does help you out, instead of doing that in that hour and a half that I was in the gym every morning before school, what I would do is I would work on game-like training, I would work on game shots, I would work on game skills, and ultimately I would get better game results. So while I became a great shooter because I focused so heavily on shooting, I would instead spend some time working on finishing. One of the areas that I was weak in was left-hand finishing when I was in high school, and I kind of shied away from that just because I wanted to kind of stick to what I was great at. And what I do now with my players is I help build kind of strategic programs so that they get the best results in games, which is all that matters. So if you guys want to take your training to the next level, instead of just being in the gym, instead of just working hard, you'll start working hard with kind of a calculated approach so that you can start getting the game results that you've always dreamed of. What's up guys, it's Coach Drew, and as a lot of you guys know, I break down a ton of film, and I've realized that perimeter players can be grouped into 4 categories: a sniper, a slasher, a creator, and an operator. Now, a sniper is a guy like Brad Beal that can knock down shots, whether it's off the dribble or off the catch, all over the floor. A slasher is a guy like Kelly Oubre that really looks to get downhill. He might be off the ball, he catches the ball, rips through, and tries to finish over rotating shot blockers, or he changes directions and is able to kind of create for himself or others around the rim. A creator is a guy like Zach LaVine that can really use breakdown moves to destroy his defenders and then ultimately create for himself or others. The last one is an operator. An operator is a guy like Jason Tatum that can get a bucket anywhere on the floor, whether that's in the mid-post, the mid-range, or out on the perimeter. Regardless which position type you're in, it's important that you identify what you are so that you can ultimately work on your role and then master your role. So the first step in the process, figure out which one of those you are. Second step in the process, work towards working on the things that you need to master. And the third step is get the game results that you've always wanted.